Welcome, welcome to the land of Tal'Dorei, where you, as adventurers, will assume your characters and embark on a dangerous quest to rid the continent of the evil that plagues it. Our story begins in the trade kingdom of Durak. It's mid-spring, and the kingdom of Durak is throwing a huge celebration for the royal twins' third birthday. Theron is a bright, smiley mess of copper curls and freckles, whereas Isaac is a more reserved creature of sandy blonde hair and freckles as well, both with bright eyes and little pointed half-elf ears. The streets are filled with all walks, as Duroc is known for being accepting of every race and creed. There are ribbons and flags adorning every banner and rooftop, all embellished in blue and silver, the kingdom's colors. Performers fill the town with colorful tents, music, and laughter. There are jugglers performing for children who giggle wildly, wide-eyed. There are bards playing on various instruments, all blended together as a harmonious banter instead of trying to overpower each other. Some performers duel, riffing off each other in an impressive display of pliable talent. There are elven dancers from the nearby kingdom of Letha, swaying rhythmically to the music that fills the air, taking the hands of children and turning them about, the sway of jewel-toned skirts in lonely contrast to the cobblestone streets. The air is thick with the scent of flowers and cooking food, the lilac trees tucked into various alcoves among the city, striated by rose bushes and hydrangeas, adding color to every pocket of the city. The stream and smoke rising from the tents is a lovely aroma of breads, cooking meat, stews, roasted vegetables, pastries, and other desserts. The taverns all have their doors open and set out either patio settings for their patrons or have their own ale tents set amidst the festivities. There are older tabaxi folk around the taverns, telling and sharing stories in a relaxed yet invested manner, occasionally scribbling particularly interesting details in a leather-bound book before returning their full attention to the conversation at hand. Our story begins with a young Goliath boy, not even fully into adulthood, speaking with the city's biggest tavern owner, there we go, affectionately known as Miss Franny. The two make quick but polite conversation about the bard's performance schedule for later in the evening. Well, I know you'll be out all day in the festival, so just you let me know if you have one last performance in you before you leave town tomorrow. You know we love you and your talents. And if you do, your room tonight is all me, she says with a wink. Your performances have been drawn in bigger and bigger crowds every night. It's the least I can do. Although affectionate to you now, Miss Franny was highly suspicious of the young Goliath when he first wandered into Duroc, as Goliaths are reasonably rare this far from the mountains. But with a little convincing and a bit of performance flair, she rented you a room in her inn right above the tavern and allowed you to play for the bar folk every night. Even as a Goliath, you have to look up ever so slightly to meet Miss Franny's eyes. Standing somewhere around 6'7", with a full-bodied frame, this half-elven woman commands every room she enters. With her high cheekbones and long, pointed nose, she is beautiful, yet subtly menacing without trying to be. She stands before you in a blue straight-skirted gown with silver stitching to match the occasion, she tells you, with a soft white lace trim and a high V collar that somehow doesn't look out of place on her in the center of the tavern. Her long silver hair is held up in a loose bun on top her head, with a single silver pin encrusted with sapphires on the hilt. She is aged, yet ageless, spirited and boisterous, and yet quite reserved about herself. Chris, would you please describe your character?
Yes. So I am a little. You described her as towering over me. However, I am just a slight hair under 8 feet tall. Um, just coming into adulthood as a Goliath. I was once traveling, the whole area of the realm with my family of traveling musicians that picked me up. They had found me on the side of a mountain and decided to teach me their ways. It was right around the time in which the anniversary of which they had found me. And the very next night, the leader of our pack, Podrick, happened to be killed by somebody completely unknown to me. And the only information I got out of anyone who was willing to talk to me in the family was that he had made some pretty aggressive and evil enemies in a past life. And that's all I've got to go on. However, I did happen to acquire his loot before I took off, and now I'm just kind of wandering from town to town in aimless search and hope for finding his killer. I am, as I said, 8 feet tall. I got white, pale skin, as Goliaths do. I'm a little bit towering, however, I like to sit kind of back and observe the scene before I decide whether or not it's worth my time to invest any time in a conversation. And yeah, that's kind of that.
As the Goliath bard walks out of the tavern door, a slender, half-elf male finishes the last of his ale and sets the stein onto the long, battered oak bar top. A bit worse for wear. His latest job earned a few more slashes on his right arm that will heal, but will definitely scar. His body is a commemorative collection of the feats of his life, especially the scarred edges of his once pointed ears. That was the first thing Miss Franny noticed when he entered her tavern the night before, being significantly taller than he was. It's a hard feature to miss. She bridged the topic carefully after he was a few drinks in, letting him work off some of the adrenaline of the nuisance troll he had killed just outside of town on behalf of Queen Helly. He had arrived quite worse for wear, covered in carnage, and before he could utter a word, Miss Franny slid a large pint of dark ale towards him with a smile, saying, "Like you had one hell of a day. How's the other guy look?" You're unsure of her age, given her elven heritage, but you perceive Miss Franny as you would a 60-year-old human female. One thing you know she's mastered with her age is a proficiency in alchemy. So in addition to serving the best drinks in town, she also has a fully stocked potions bar. You know this because she poured a potion of superior healing in your glass before she pushed it toward you last night, stating that patrons tend to tip better if they're not bleeding out on my tavern floor. Hunter, would you please describe your character?
I am half elf that usually keeps himself covered up most of the time, but he's scraggly looking, and he, as if you could see, his tips of his ears cut to look somewhat more human, but he's just likes to keep to himself for the most part and hunts monsters to get enough coin to live and drink. But well, I guess he's a 40-year-old, 170-pound, 5'8", dark brown shoulder length hair, with an unkempt beard.
A half-orc heads to Duroc, as it is heralded to be the mecca of diversity and inclusivity. Their intent wasn't to find a new home or a purpose upon entering the kingdom, but rather just to exist temporarily in a space where they wouldn't be seen as an other. Upon getting closer to the borders of Duroc, they begin hearing tales of the royal celebration for the twin toddlers, 2 half-elves, Theron and Isaac. The birthday party didn't draw their attention to the kingdom nearly as much as the stories of the expansive royal gardens, all said to be lush and lovingly tended to all year round. Upon entering the city limits, you are taken aback to see so many orcs and half-orcs mingling intermittently with so many other walks of life. You don't recognize anyone, but their ornamental scars tell you that a few are previously from Siscond, but most are from tribes foreign to you. Striding forward towards the heart of the city, you smell the petrichor of the gardens long before you see them. Earth, dirt, life, potential, and you instantly relax, and a bit from the subconscious unease brought to you by the presence of others of your kind. The palace courtyards descend back behind the flags and banners and high spires, and suddenly the noise of the festivities is muffled as you notice a transparent border around the garden that flutters ever so slightly in the breeze, like a veil. It is peaceful here. You are not deafened from the outside goings on, but it's easier to ignore in this space. You begin to walk through the various sections and alleys, appreciating that the gardens are tended to, but not suffocated by unnecessary manicuring. Things are left to their own devices, spilling out of pots over stone pillars and ivy left to climb up every wall. Vivi, would you please describe your character?
So, as Taylor said, I am a half orc. I'm about 35 years old, 6 feet 9 inches tall, 221 pounds. Just have brown hair, brown eyes, but I kind of have like a grayish Caucasian colored skin. Um, I was raised in Siscond, but in Siscond, identity is really important. And when a little orcling is on the way, they have a party. And they don't have a gender reveal or anything reveal. It's just, this is now a child of Siscond. And everybody is raised as equally as possible. And then there's a coming of age ceremony when they're about 10 or so. But this coming of age ceremony includes your family members. And I was kind of Catholic style left in a basket at the chieftain's house. So I didn't really have any family up there at this ceremony where you name yourself and claim yourself if you have dating preferences and dating preferences. I chose to take the ornamental scarring knife and just set it down. I knew that these people had raised me, and I was thankful for that, but none of them really took me in. So I thought it'd be better if I just was on my own and I walked off to kind of live in the woods. Sometimes I would, sleep closer to where people were camping or, the roadside so I could feel like I was a part of things, but mostly I kept to myself. This is probably the first time that I've been in such an enormous civilized area.
We cut now over to a hulking gray Goliath striding in through the city gates of Duroc. The crowd is mixed faces. The crowd of mixed faces parts before you as your steps thud loudly on the cobblestone streets. You occasionally have to duck under one of the many silver and blue banners that crescent the city streets. A dice bag at your side, you decided to follow the whims of fate into Turok for the celebration. It was either this or continue on to the next major city. But the dice chose to party. You're used to getting sideways glances from people. One, because of your towering size, and two, because many people haven't seen a Goliath in person before. Sometimes you nod when passing, sometimes you do not, continuing your healthy pace towards the festivities to find something to eat. It's late morning, and you've already been walking several hours, but the mouth-watering aromas drew you further into the city like a siren's call. All throughout your journey into the city, you're hearing talks of the disappearances throughout Tal'Dorei. Though you've paid little interest to the details of it, It doesn't seem to be affecting you. Therefore, you can't really be bothered. Walking down the main street that leads over to a small pond filled with koi and turtles and other wildlife, both placed and naturally occurring, you see the streets filled with people crowding around various tents selling every manner of goods. You know Duroc is a trade city north of the Emerald Outpost that trades especially in elven wares shipped out of Letha, though that's common knowledge. And the end of your own knowledge of this place. Glancing at the booths lining the city streets, you see every manner of humanoid creature you're familiar with. Human weavers threading looms with colorful yarn, dwarven jewelers with thick monocles appraising gems presented to them by various patrons, a half-orc potter shaping red clay on the turntable as they turn it with their feet, several tabaxi troops in sequenced and embroidered costumes coming and going from their last performance. Duroc is a city of open borders and open trade, so market days are usually this bustling on an average day. And with it being a royal celebration, the streets are especially lively. Tim, would you please describe your character?
He's a towering, like she said, 8 foot tall, light gray skinned Goliath. I have tattooed lines all over my body. More of the, not that they've been, and not by ink, but more born with them. I wear a fur hooded cloak, as I'm from the mountains, and as yes, I am immune or resistant to cold. It still helps, and then it kind of hides a little bit. He has a teal blue eyes, similar to the icy cold he's from. He is very muscular and toned, as he worked. Even for like a Goliath, he is very large. He worked as a warrior for his tribe. His father was the tribe leader, so a lot to make sure that he ranks high. A lot of working. His hands are broken in, and just working hands, from swinging an axe or working and doing what he needed to do.
We cut now to find a dwarven man sitting astride a stool, holed up on one of the colorful ale tents in the center of Duroc. The day is sunny and warm, but not sweltering, so you fancied yourself a drink and cozied up amongst the diverse bands of folks amidst the festivities. Not paying any particular attention to anyone's conversation, your ears peak when you hear a younger tabaxi female talking in a rather hushed tone about the recent death of Duroc's king, Amand. Apparently, she says, the one who killed him is currently in their custody, a woman named Kasana. And they've been trying to get information out of her, to no avail. They say the queen's sister is here to help defend the children. But I think it's really a front, and she's here to torture Kasana for information. The crowd goes wild and begins discussion of the validity of that theory, which you begin to tune out and go back to your ale before a loud, very drunk woman begins hollering across the beer tents towards her equally drunk friends. More discussion ensues as the woman leaves, but you ponder to yourself about the gossip. You've learned such things, weighing the validity of it, knowing that hurt people do terrible things when it comes to family. Mike, would you please describe your character?
Yeah. You see a dwarf about 5'5", 260 pounds, heavy armor, a shield adorned with patches of all the campaigns that he's been a mercenary in. Just sitting there drinking, smoking, bronze skin, green eyes. Just your typical dwarf.
Excellent. And finally, we cut to a very regal presenting human. He's only been in the city for a few hours, and only really gotten back onto his feet and into the world for a few months. Traveling between cities, listening for rumors about the whereabouts of Moira, their arch rival. Tales told in various cities state that she and a few other members of the class would be visiting Duroc for the royal celebration, though no one could confirm whether it was benevolent or malicious intent in their coming. So, currently, this male is sitting in one of the ale tents, eyeing around for any sign of the desired enemies, ignoring most of the general goings-on. Trevor, would you please describe your character?
You see a taller human male with the fair skin, long curly black hair that is currently tied into a tight ponytail, stark blue eyes, very light build, about 180 pounds, very kind of like a lanky, lithe sort of build, a bit not later in the years, but there's some age on him, you can tell. Although from his clothes and some of the weapons that he carries on him, they look very ornate. He definitely appears to come from wealth, and he's like a half stand, half kind of sitting at his table, just kind of watching the crowd, just kind of fiddling with his family's signet ring that it's backwards on his finger so people can't see the family crest, but I'm just kind of sitting there watching and just kind of playing with it, rubbing it.
At the center of the festivities sits the palace, its blue granite steps leading up to find the faces of the royal family. Queen Helly, a curvy woman with long chestnut brown hair and green eyes that seem to glow from within, along with Theron and Isaac, who continue to giggle ceaselessly as people bring them gifts at the top of the stairs. The day is warm for spring, the air rich with the aroma of lilacs, and the sun bright overhead, and still not suffocating, even in the midday heat. Queen Helly begins to stand, aided by a knight on her left. As she rises, you notice she is very pregnant, about 7 months. She steadies herself before staying. Good people of Duroc, and friends from other lands, I wish to give you all my thanks for coming to celebrate this lovely occasion with us. As many of you know, life has not been easy in our kingdom these past few months, with the tragic death of my beloved husband, King Amand, as well as the disappearances that have been plaguing our peace. But today we revel in all that is good in the world. Today, I look into my children's faces and I see hope. Hope that the worst is behind us. Hope for a brighter future. Hope that good will somehow always triumph over. Suddenly, there's a flash of smoke where the royal twins had just been giggling, leaving silence in their wake. It takes the queen a moment to react before more puffs of smoke begin disappearing, any child not being touched by an adult. There's a sudden moment of pause before the crowd erupts into chaos and calamity. Shrill screams and mothers wailing, calling their children's names, as suddenly everyone begins rushing around with no intent, just panic. There's no malice in the crowd, not yet. There is confusion permeating through every person in the crowd. Amidst the chaos, what do you do?
Can I make a perception check to see if I can try and discern where who or what might be grabbing these kids?
Sure.
I just say I want to try to do one as well to see if there's anyone, like looking specifically at people, seeing if anybody's acting in a strange way, more as like suspicious versus panicky.
Okay.
I got a 17 for perception.
Okay.
I got a 15.
26.
Christ.
looking at the areas where the smoke is still rising, you don't see anyone particularly looking in that manner. Though with everyone rushing around, it's kind of hard to tell if anyone is walking away or if they're running due to the calamity.
Could I try to sneak my way further up towards the twins?
That are no longer there?
Oh, I didn't catch that part that they weren't there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll try to. I wanna make my way up there to see if I can, maybe find any trace or like just like in the area, see if like I see anything from
Okay.
that perspective.
Yeah,
All right,
I'll do
so
the
you
same.
All right, you walk up the stairs. Anyone else want to do anything?
I rolled a 12 on a perception check. I'm just trying to see if there's a direction in which, like, is there a pattern to which the kids are disappearing? Like a direction that the smoke, not like it's, I know it's not like a wave of smoke, but like, can I tell which direction it is going to abduct the kids, or is it just like it's going in a circle, or?
You saw the first puff of smoke before the royal twins disappeared at the very top of the staircase, and then at the base of the staircase, working its way back to the back of the crowd, child after child after child after child just leaves a puff of smoke in their wake.
So it did have a pattern?
Yes.
So it's basically
back.
moving away from the stage. Got it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, go ahead. Whomever else, my bad.
I would specifically be looking for any indications of members of our group.
Okay.
Yeah, can I look for any children in the path that aren't being held by an adult? Like the path of the smoke?
We're gonna
Every
start
child
touching
that every child that was not in
I grab
that
a kid?
moment, just grab it.
They're all doing it. I can do it too.
There's still,
Like, oh no!
there are still a few dozen children that aren't a puff of smoke and gone, but these are all children who their parents were holding their shoulder or touching their head or grabbing their arm as they were running away.
Okay.
They still are there.
So there's no unyoinked kids, is what you're saying.
Like 2 dozen in the crowd. That's all that's left.
But ones that don't need to be yoinked, essentially.
Yes.
She doesn't have to go protect anybody.
No, there's nothing to protect.
Okay, out of all the kids, did it look like only nobles, or was it like nobles, peasants?
Everyone. No
Everyone.
pattern. The
So
only
there was-
ones that stand out is the twins just because they were high above everyone else.
Is there a certain smell in the air or anything like that? Any kind of indication or something like that?
Besides just the
festivity
general
stuff?
Yeah, just the festivities.
Okay.
Can I cast detect magic?
You can cast detect magic.
Okay. Does it reveal anything?
Roll a perception check.
17.
You can tell that it's some kind of time altering, but you're not really familiar with what kind or where the origin of it would be.
Can I make an Arcana check?
Sure.
Oof, 9. That's no good.
You got nothing. You have no idea.
I forget. Did you say we're in a building or are we out in a crowd? Like outside?
You are outside in the middle of a giant courtyard in a kingdom.
Okay, can I follow where that trail went?
Yes.
Can I also follow suit?
Yeah,
Sure.
we'll follow
Yeah,
suit.
Are they all
same.
following
Just go towards the
away?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
They're
following
following.
in the direction that the smoke led.
Okay, yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So you're heading out of this large corridor into a smaller lane that, as you can see in the far distance, leads directly out of the city. Not walking particularly fast, but there's not anything very telling about the area. However, in this moment, you see a bunch of centaur guards begin racing out of the outside of the building, out of the outside of the walls of the city, towards you, then past you, racing up the steps to flank Queen Heli. You notice they don't really obstruct her view, nor surround her, but you do notice that her gaze is wild, and the green that was underneath her eyes is now projecting in a wild, scanning ground, scanning for threats, baring her teeth in an animalistic rage.
But they are protecting her.
They are not. They are just flanking her.
Oh, okay.
You hear the footsteps first, heavy, rough, padded echoes along the cobblestone streets. Queen Heli's ears perk up. As she is an elf, you kind of see them move just a little bit from a distance. And she averts her gaze instinctively, then yells out, "It's a basilisk! Avert your eyes, don't catch its stare, run! Hide! Flee, you fools!"
I raise my shield to hide my eyes.
Absolutely
people-
just hiding. Yeah.
I find the nearest bush and push my face in it.
Pull
But
my
as
hood
people
down.
instinctively turn to see what's causing such commotion, the crowd, one by one, begins turning to stone. The Queen's guards, obviously trained for this somehow, either begin covering their eyes with the bandanas from their uniforms or begin racing off to an unknown purpose into the castle behind the Queen. By now, the crowd is either rapidly dispersing, locals and shopkeepers gesturing the crowds into their dwellings, or are already petrified into porous stone statues of their likeness. In a moment as quick as a flash, the Queen yells something in a language you've never heard before, and suddenly a 12-foot giant mirror stands in front of her, facing the threat before her. Padding gets louder as the creature closes in. In your peripheral vision, making sure not to look directly at it, you see slate gray reptilian body covered in red spines, walking on 8 clawed legs. It lumbers towards the Queen and begins its way through the remaining crowds of statues. "Hold," she orders. "Steady. Make no sudden movements." Still avoiding its eyes, you see it begin to assess an ascent up the long stairway towards the Queen. Closer it steps, 100 feet, 50 feet. Then suddenly, about 30 feet away, it lets out a harsh bellow and locks gaze with itself through the mirror summoned by the Queen. As it begins to petrify by its head, you hear the racing gallops of a centaur guard, who you see carrying 2 humanoids upon their back. One, an older human gentleman with short white hair and gold spectacles, and a young high elven woman with long copper hair, much like Theron's was, with an ornate longsword in tow. The elven woman leaps gracefully from the guard's back before he's halted and vaults towards the basilisk, raising the sword midair and severing the beast's head where it had not yet turned to stone. The carcass crumples before her, and she just stands there, bloody sword in hand, barely breathing, assessing. By now, the older gentleman has dismounted and is digging around in his brown rucksack to reveal several empty glass bottles and begins collecting the still oozing blood from the severed neck. Queen Helle waves her hand dismissively, and the mirror disappears. She sways a bit on her feet before steadying herself, her eyes blank, staring at nothing, lost in thought. The older gentleman begins sounding the all clear, explaining his name is Archeron, the royal alchemist, and that he can cure the basilisk's petrification. He explains some jargon about synthesizing basilisk's blood into an antidote before the copper-haired elven woman cuts off his rambling with a glare. He collects himself and instructs the remaining able-bodied masses, now peeking out of the doorways and alleys, to carry the afflicted to his laboratory so he can begin work immediately. Be careful, though. Anything that breaks off while they're petrified can't be reattached once they're flesh and bone again. And he wanders off into his lab inside the castle. The copper-haired elven woman you see is now escorting the Queen inside the castle, longsword still gripped in her left hand. What do you do?
I'm gonna continue following the trail.
Okay.
Where I think it leads.
I'm gonna poke a statue.
Okay.
Double check that it's a statue.
They are all statues.
Okay.
All of them? She touched all of them?
I'm gonna catch
Apparently.
at least 3 of them.
Very, very aggressive poking.
Taylor, can I attempt to find any markings or footprints that would indicate a path was traveled other than the centaurs that we saw pass us?
Yes. Make an
Uh,
investigation check.
you got it. Ooh, 24.
24. You get to the end of the corridor where the gates of the city are open, and off to the side leading into the distant forest, you see small footsteps, maybe size 8, that then turn into a long trail as if something's being dragged.
I'll follow him and go in towards the...
I'm gonna continue going up that path, and I'm gonna try to be as quick as I can while still being as stealthy as I can.
I am going to go ahead and talk to barkeep lady that I can't think of her name right now because I'm awful.
Miss Franny.
Yes, I'm going to go talk to Miss Franny because I have never seen any sort of event like this, but the guards seem to know what was going on. So,
All right.
just gonna get some information on how common these basilisk attacks are.
All right.
Yeah, it seemed very well responded.
I see him walking towards the tavern, and I'm gonna follow him because I haven't been to that tavern.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to figure out like person who took out the basilisk or whatever, made the mirror and everything. Talk to them and see what that was and if that was somehow involved with the children missing and stuff
Okay.
too.
Was it the queen that summoned the
Yes.
mirror and shit?
The
Okay.
queen.
Oh, it was the queen.
So she.
Do you
Well, I'll
think we
go
can
with-
just go talk to the queen? Like,
Yeah,
she just
man.
lost
Why
some
not?
kids, man.
All right, I'll go to the bar. I'm follow you guys to go talk to the barkeep but about that stuff and see if she can tell me anything.
All right. So some of you are following the trail. Some of you are going to the tavern.
Yeah, I'll go to the tavern. And
Okay. So we'll go to the tavern first. So you walk back into Miss Franny's tavern. It's just called Miss Franny's. There was a title to it originally, but once everyone just started calling it Miss Franny's, that's what it is. And this woman, she's just cleaning a glass, looks up as you walk in. What was all that about?
that's what we're here to ask you.
Yeah.
You heard the running and screaming, and you're just like, "Ooh, what's all that?"
Well, this is Duroc.
Oh, so this happens all the time?
Not necessarily all the time, but recently, with all the disappearances, things have been getting weird.
Okay.
Is it always children?
No. Yeah. Is it always kids?
The kids are the ones that are going and disappearing. Duroc kind of has always been a place where people come and go without really being noticed.
What about the
But
big lizard?
lizards have become more common recently.
Oh.
That copper-haired woman you saw at the top, that is Queen Heli's sister. That is Queen Lana. Now, I don't know what's happening here, but I know that Queen Lenya comes from Letha, and apparently Letha has been getting attacked. No, ravaged by all manner of creatures. Now, when she looks around, there's not really anyone else in the tavern, but she hushes her voice just a little bit, just in case. You didn't hear this from me, but elven children are especially prized, especially precious. So they take greater care of their children in elven kingdoms than they do in human realms. But somehow, some way, 3 elven children went missing from Letha just last week.
Welcome.
Yeah,
ain't
they're
about
probably
this
in
never
20
mind.
years.
No, what?
Now,
been
it's
gone
not-
for a whole week. I can't promise shit, man.
Turnaround rate's maybe 48 hours.
Yeah.
the first
After
48
that,
hours is the most
survival
essential.
rate, they're dead, man, or they're sold into slavery. There's nothing I can do for you.
Knows what's happening
I'm a fucking miracle
to
worker.
children.
Right.
That's what I say every day. I'm just a barkeep. So many people come in and out of here, and I get to hear everything that people tell you. Because for whatever reason, people just vomit up their life if you're a barmaid. I love it. I really do. But the things have gotten very weird recently. So many more parents just distraught at their missing children.
Is the boy
I wonder
outside?
why.
Yeah. I'll set a
I don't-
gold piece on the bar. And I'm like, are you sure there's nothing else you can tell us about this?
Well, you see, there's a girl that they have in custody up in the castle named Kasana. Now, I've only gotten bits and pieces as the different palace guards have come in and out of my tavern, but apparently Queen Lenya has been doing her worst to that woman to try and break her. They say she's the one that killed the king, poisoned him, left him for dead. So
And
we're
who is
wondering-
it? Who exactly is she to the royal family?
She was apparently just working in the castle. Turned up out of nowhere, and good-hearted Queen Helly decided, sure, let her be a maid. Let her work up the ranks.
Yeah, good help is
Well-
hard to find.
Thank
Okay, so I leave the gold there.
you.
Look at everybody else around me and like, okay, what are we supposed to do with all this?
I suppose we should probably go and try and talk to somebody else who knows more about this stuff.
Okay, lead the way.
As
I've,
you
the last time I was in a city was 25 years ago. I
Don't
don't think I know my way around this one.
Okay.
Don't worry. I had the happen chance to get a little charm over on the queen the other night when she happened to visit by the tavern.
Well,
I think she gets a little weary from all of her royal responsibilities and sometimes needs to
Ooh,
tip one back with the common folk.
commoners.
If you know what
yeah,
I mean.
especially while pregnant.
All right.
Especially while very obviously pregnant.
Hey, that's nature's condom. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Not made for kids. Period.
No.
Definitely 18 plus.
Hmm.
No, it's once you are stand tall enough above the bar.
So you guys are going to go try to talk to the queen. The rest of you are going to follow the trail out into the forest. Yes?
I think it was just Trevor and I.
Is it just
Yeah.
Trevor and me? Okay.
I think so.
All right.
And I was trying to be sneaky.
You're trying to be sneaky. All right.
I'm not.
Realistic. Okay. So you're doing
I'm
it.
not.
I'm not.
I am
Excellent.
booking it.
You're just trompsing away. No
Oh yeah,
problems.
I got a
I'll tell you what,
22 for stealth.
Clinging to the side of the wall. You are going in and out of bushes. No one's seeing you. Everyone is in the center of town. You go completely unnoticed as you enter the forest. Whereas, what is Tim's character name?
Orillo.
Arillo. Okay, Arillo's just
And you said no sound effects.
we're doing what we can with what we have. So To the point where people in the center of town are kind of looking around being like, is that thunder? What the fuck is that?
8 foot, 300-pound man just fucking booking it.
You make it into the forest where the continuation of this weird, thick, dragging path goes. It's maybe 2 feet wide and very smooth as it's being dragged along. It's not necessarily smoothing over the earth as it goes, but it's consistent, going deeper and deeper into the forest. And then suddenly,
It vanishes.
stop.
You cut each other off. What?
It vanishes. It's gone.
Yeah, she said
trail?
it stopped, and I said it vanishes. So
Yeah, all I heard was Tim, so I didn't know if that's...
Yes.
So the trail vanishes.
Yes.
okay. Is there anything like I can't think of what the trap is called, but like things basically like underneath of like the grass or like leaves or anything like any kind of like hidden doors or anything in the ground? Or...
I would be checking for like the tree line to see, or the trees nearby to see if there were any markings that would indicate they left ground and went for more of a aerial acrobatic sort of approach.
Okay.
As I know that would be a thing.
That would be a thing.
That would be a thing.
investigation checks.
Yeah, I would say both of those would be investigation checks.
I got a 7.
I got an
Ooh.
11.
All right. You're looking around. You see forest. There's lots of trees, lots of brush. But once it stops, there's no disturbed earth in front of it. It's just gone.
Okay.
Arcana checks?
Yeah, no.
Well, there's nothing.
Neither
There's
of ya?
no. She said there's no disturbed dirt. If there's no disturbed dirt, then I doubt it's a spell. I'm gonna look a little further forward ahead, trying to be stealthy, and I guess relying more on my ears than my eyes at this point.
Is it maybe the path? Can I just look around, like maybe like turning, seeing if there's anything where they maybe turned and able to
Make investigation checks.
17.
17.
24.
Persistence.
That's better.
Persistence. Just
There
keep
you go.
looking.
You can hear something breathing.
I rolled
Heavy.
a total of 10 for my stealth check.
All right. Not being
And
stealthy
it
at all.
definitely hears you breathing.
Sorry,
No, it's hearing me, but it's
bedridden
affecting
for a
him.
while.
Tromp, 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 tromp.
Right? Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Me? I was trying to I was moving ahead of where the path or where the trail had cut off, and I was trying to listen out to see if I could hear anything, like maybe since my eyes are like seem to be failing me, I was going to go further ahead and kind of move through, relying more on my hearing.
You do hear something breathing. Not really sure where, but there's something else in the woods besides Arillo.
They're in the trees.
Arillo, who you can also hear
We
quite
are the
easily.
Lorax. We speak for the trees.
And then, Arillo, what were you investigating?
I was looking to see if maybe there was like a deviation of the path, seeing if there was something like nearby without directly connecting to the path, just kind of like circling the area, seeing if there was any other kind of indication that they'd split off.
As you're looking around, and because you rolled a 17, you can see this, but to the left, there's some scuff marks, maybe half a foot off the ground on the trees, leading away from the path.
On multiple trees or a tree?
Multiple trees.
Okay, I'm gonna human marks on the trees. Yelling at Trevor. His character, I don't know his name, so human it is.
Kenneth. His name is Kenneth.
They
Sure.
don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know that. You don't know that yet, but
But I'm basically that's what it's a human. I found marks on the trees.
Can you imagine being stealthily moving through the woods, trying desperately to hear whatever you can, and then all of a sudden someone pipe up in the background.
I found it!
I'm gonna say the direction he's gesturing in, is that where the noise is coming from?
no.
No?
No.
Oh.
Should I start cutting them down?
I'm gonna gesture for him to just go that way, and I'm gonna keep going my way towards the noise.
All right.
Out of the way.
I'm gonna
Roll in another investigation check for me, Trevor.
Alright. Oh
I'm
god,
just
that
gonna
was
start-
almost a 1.
It
It was almost a 1. It was a 13 for a total of 19.
All right.
I'm
You're
just gonna
getting
start cutting
deeper
trees
into
down.
the woods, and you're not really familiar with any of these
I
areas.
also am
But
still trying to be stealthy.
all right, excellent. The breathing's getting louder, but it's not at your level.
Can I
So
start cutting down
it's
trees?
probably above me, I could assume at this point.
You are already cutting down trees. You said this.
Okay.
He's already cutting down trees.
I'm cutting down trees.
And as you look back to see what the fuck is making all that noise, you hear a rustling of leaves running in the other direction. Away from
Opposite of me,
you. Yes. Away
follow.
from you, away from the Goliath.
I'm going to follow as fast as I can.
You're keeping pace. You can't really see what it is, but you're following the rustling of leaves, jumping from tree to tree in a way that isn't human.
It's a monkey.
Make an athletics check for me.
Ooh. Ooh.
There's no.
Ooh.
Would he have been in my visual sight to be able to see at all?
I
That
mean,
he
you were
did?
maybe 20, 25 feet away.
How thick
You
is
were
the-
also cutting down
Right.
them trees.
Well,
It's
that's why I was
thick
like, wow,
forest.
it's
It
a
is
thick forest?
thick,
Okay.
unkept forest.
I am keeping the forest.
Are we sure this wasn't an acrobatics check?
This is an athletics check, because you are trying to be stealthy, but you're running.
That's an 8.
Woo!
Yeah.
It
9 minus
outpaces
1.
you significantly,
Shit.
and you lose it.
I'm gonna try. Can I forego the stealthy aspect? Can I try and hop up into the trees and follow its path as best I can? Just kind of leaping from tree to tree where I think it went.
Make another athletics check.
Their athletics check. Oh! Damn it! That was almost a 20. But it's one less this time. Now it's a 7.
Yeah, you try making it about halfway up the tree, and you just fall down. You've got very little upper body strength. You cannot hold yourself up.
How many trees have I cut
Got a
down?
point there.
How
At
hard
this
is it
point,
for me
like
to cut
at
down
least
these
a dozen.
trees? Okay. Am I at all noticing any fruition of knocking down these trees?
She said no. I'm
You're
sorry.
just
you couldn't hear her.
disturbing the forest.
Okay. I'm gonna go off and I'm just gonna kind of just grunt to myself and just try to go find him again. Go in the direction I last saw him.
I'm gonna try to keep moving in direction that I saw that thing last. But this time I'm just I'm not trying to be quick about it. I'm just trying to follow its trail and be stealthy to see if I can eventually catch up to it, or at least find out if it has like a rendezvous or a point in which it's changing like its mode of transportation or something.
Go follow that. The Goliath's going to follow. You're going deeper into the forest. All right, we're going to cut back into the kingdom. You guys are going to go meet the queen.
I got a
So-
21 for stealth.
What?
Nice.
You got a
you're going
what for stealth?
unnoticed.
Sup?
21.
Oh, nice.
21.
So are we just are we saying like maybe we're in front of the entrance to the
You're beginning to ascend the blue granite steps of the palace. It's a long staircase, like several hundred feet. It's a long staircase.
How close are we?
You're getting there.
I got short legs.
Who wants to carry me?
everybody each one of you can get on one of my arms here. I'll just carry you up the stairs.
I can make it. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I
No,
hop
no,
on.
I'm talking about yeah, Mike and Hunter.
Making decent pace. Top, a little bit more winded than others. The entire outside of the palace is stationed with guards. Most of the guards are centaurs. Not all of them. Some of them are orcs. Some of them are various forms of human, half-elf, and whatnot. But most of them are centaurs. Either holding pikes or javelins, spears, long,
Can I
pointy things.
Can I make a perception check to see if any of these guards I know from like the tavern and shit?
Sure.
15, I think it's +2, 17.
17. Not the front two, but the second one to the right, you do recognize. His name is Kyle.
Okay.
You know that he likes dark ale. And that he laughs a little bit too loud.
And punches drywall.
White boy.
You
You're not
I'm
necessarily
just
friendly, but you do know of each other.
gonna just do a little trill on my lute quick and just kind of sing-songy call out his name. A little bit seductively.
A little bit. Technically.
Oh.
Is that a
That'd be a charisma check.
I climbed down off of him at this time.
I don't want to be
What?
I didn't sign up for this.
I'm gonna
14.
nope the fuck out. Check
14.
14. He does look towards you and give you a little nod. And go back to looking blankly in front of him.
Would you lend me your ear?
He looks back again. Cocks his head a bit. Aren't you that bard?
Yeah. The one you met last Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, we won't talk about it, but
Kind of looks around at all of his fellow guardsmen. We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So we happened to hear a little bit of chatter about some kids going missing, and then we happened to notice very suddenly the twins have gone missing. Anywhere I can sneak a word with the queen?
At the mention of the disappearing twins, every single guard's face drops a little bit in shame, disappointment, pain.
We got a few
Yeah,
here in our
anyways.
ranks that are known to wrangle up a little bit of, well, I don't know, bad guys when they get the chance. So we might have a winning shot at this one if you give me a sec.
Make a persuasion check.
For that guy or for us?
Just for Chris.
Oof. It's
Oof.
it's a nat one.
Mm.
They all kind of straighten. Not in sync, but definitely a collective agreement that you're not getting in the palace.
Well, it was worth a shot. I'm going to turn back around and head down the staircase. A little bit of shame. Brush my shoulder off.
We'll see you later at the tavern, though, right?
Of course, of course. Wave
I
my
walk
hand
forward.
gesturing back to him, and I'll be seeing you later.
Blushes just a little bit.
I'll walk forward, brandishing my shield with all the commendations on it, and pull out my holy symbol and ask the guard, "We like to speak with the queen. I think we can all help here."
Majesty is not taking visitors at this moment.
Yeah, but we
Not-
can shed some light
Not
on.
by herself. You see him kind of look around. The scary redhead said no.
Well, can we talk to the scary redhead?
Who that? Okay.
It's
That's
scary redhead.
the sister.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
Sure.
looks towards the center guard. Gestures. Maybe. He also goes a little white in the face. Fucking scary, man.
At this, my ears perk up, and I slowly start to shamelessly make my way to the back of the party, kind of hoping to be unseen and unnoticed.
As I stand
Sneak
8
my way
feet
in.
tall over
Yeah.
the fucking dwarf.
Inconspicuous.
There's
I
stairs.
block
There's
out the
stairs.
sunlight from him, and he just kind of turns up towards me.
Stairs are blue granite.
Hmm.
So you can't hide amongst the stairs.
I can try. And
So who's in
try
charge
I
here?
will.
I'm 6'9", so if he just stands a few steps down
Jeez.
behind me,
Yeah, it's fine.
it'll be good.
Anyway,
Well,
who's
I
in
know.
Kind of
charge
like
here?
stand.
Yeah, who's in
Alright,
charge?
I notice, and I just kind of like stand a little bit wider so that like I'm blocking.
Okay, and these guards are like what, 9 feet tall? They're
They're all
menacing.
You're doing
centaurs,
centaurs?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
How
sitting
tall
here.
are these
Horse.
centaurs?
Oh, so they're
General
centaurs.
Centaurs, which are, stallion-esque, like athletic built, definitely made for running fast. But
Yeah.
there's one that's built like a draft horse. Basically jet black, long black hair, who's just been ignoring you this entire time, keeping his face straight.
So it's you.
So walk over to him.
He kind of
There-
bends to look down at you.
Yeah,
kinda-
yeah.
I
I'm
shimmy
short.
sideways to continue to block Kirsch's character as he moves.
I will. I'm just gonna, if Mike will allow me, I'm going to pick him up in my hand and just like raise him up towards. So he's like eye level with this.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
The centaur guard just snorts just a little bit.
Okay, now that we're seeing eye to eye here.
In a very tone, just says, "We're not yet."
Well, I look at him and I said, "You should really let us see the queen," and I cast command.
All right. Roll an Arcana check on that for me.
Great, I get a +0. 3.
Wow,
Noise.
that's better than one.
Yeah, better than 1, but
Literally neighs a little bit, shakes his head, and goes, "The fuck?
it was worth a shot. Okay.
We're not
Just-
playing that today. It's been a long day. All right, listen, I've had to deal with her, like, totally breaks in this moment. I've had to deal with the scary redhead, and Queen Hell is lovely. We love her. But let me level with you for a second, and bends his head just a little bit. They're going to be calling a meeting at dawn tomorrow. They haven't made any announcements of it yet because they're working on the printing at the moment to post everywhere. Go hang out at a tavern for the night. Go find an inn. In the morning, come back, and they will let you enter. That rises up to its full height, goes blank again,
No.
starts staring into the distance.
But
Okay.
this whole time, as he's describing all of this, I'm slowly getting on my tiptoes, so that the entire time that he's bowing just a little bit down, he's getting just a little bit taller.
All right. Bard boy.
No.
Starts kicking your little feet.
I very gently pick him up by the scruff of his, the back of his shirt, and set him down. How tall are you? Like 4?
5'5".
I'm 5'5".
5'5".
Yep.
So he's not tiny, but compared to the rest of you.
Yeah.
I just grab
Look
you
at
by
the
like
fucking
the
jolly fucking giants.
The Valley of Giants
Only
here.
5'8",
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'm
Big,
gonna
lumbering
three of us
horse.
are under
tap on the back
6'9".
and just kind of let you down gently.
Okay.
More than half the party is almost 7 feet tall or taller.
Or taller. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of times where it's like, yep, and you're really going to wish you had a short person right about now.
Yep.
Yeah, great. I get to sneak into all the little places with full
Indeed.
plate.
Yeah, how's your
Indeed.
Trade off.
I mean, I'm very skinny.
Stealth. Dexterity's not great.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right. With
I'm only
bruised
5'8".
egos and a little bit of just wounded charisma, you start descending the very long staircase.
I turn to Chris and I'm like, I'll buy you a drink. This didn't go our way.
I'd appreciate that. What's
All
your name?
Imran.
Well, I'm Verdwald. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Where is it that you guys are getting drinks? I like to drink beverages.
All right.
Mm.
Come back to the
Do
tavern
you
with us.
enjoy adult spicy beverages?
I'm not sure. I never
Whatever's
really had
cheap.
any. I couldn't really find any in the woods.
The woods.
Yeah, that's mostly where I grew up. Spent
Ah,
a fair bit of my time. I mean, I grew up in good old Siskond, but then kind of decided I needed to go on my own, when I was 10.
Okay. And what's your name, lass?
Well,
you
I know I had to look mine up too.
I've never really chose one or was given one. They used to call me Child of Siskond back when I was a child in Siskond, but neither of those things are true anymore. So,
Sissy.
what would you call me?
404, not found.
I did put a little drawing, like a first draft or whatever of my character on the thing, so you can kind of see the face of my character.
Gotcha.
Well,
I have to look at the campaign.
well, let's go to the tavern and we'll discuss a name for you.
That sounds
Drinking
good.
helps.
You're heading to the tavern. We back in the forest.
I had rolled a
Where?
21 for stealth.
You're being especially sneaky, my guy. No one's following
sneaky,
you
sneaky.
into the thickets. You're
Slithering
climbing
through
over
the
fallen
branches.
logs. There's moss everywhere, so things are a little bit slippery, but you're doing all right. There's not much to follow. After the brush kind of stopped rustling and you lost the trail in the distance, there's not really anything to follow. But you're being especially sneaky. Like, no one knows you're there.
Like, Aurelio has no idea that you're there, other than he saw you leave, kind of, at the very beginning, and you were on the same path.
And was poof, you're gone.
And then Orlon's just like, wandering through the woods aimlessly. But wait a second. Does Trevor? Oh, sorry, this echo is awful. Does Trevor hear him behind him as he's being especially stealthy? Like, are they even remotely going in the same direction?
Yes, they're going in the same direction, but wandering aimlessly. There's not anything to follow.
I'm gonna pick a direction and head that direction. I'll go maybe another 500 feet in that direction. If I don't find anything else, I'll turn back.
But be very sneaky about it.
Very sneaky.
Oh,
Make an investigation check.
You got it. Ooh, 22.
well.
Ooh.
All right. You make it about 450 feet. Not seeing everything. You're about to turn around and you find a child's shoe.
You get closer to the shoe. What is it? Is it more like a simple one, or would it be more
Full leather,
fancy?
cobbler made, definitely repaired a few times.
Okay.
Well worn by a child. Somewhere around size 7 in a kid. So it's a very tiny shoe, probably worn by, 5 or 6 year old, but
I'm
that's
heading
all
in the
you
right
see.
direction. I will continue forward, continuing my stealth.
All right.
You're gonna just stealth through the night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's only 2 p.m. So
How long until I catch up to him?
Oh, so we're
You're caught
day
up to him by
drinking.
now.
Got it.
What did you say?
Of course we are.
What, Taylor?
festival. Yes, you've definitely caught up to him by now.
Okay.
Though
Although you
sometimes
don't
lose
see
him.
me.
Yeah, sometimes you lose him because he's so stealthy. So you're aware of this strange human male that's kind of somewhere in the woods with you. Though you're not really sure where the fuck he is.
Okay. Do I see said shoe as well?
I've picked it up, so no.
Oh, okay.
So you're just
So as
kind
far
of
as
following
Do
the
I see the
sound.
disturbed ground where the shoe was?
How is he going in the same direction?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of followed in the way, but at this point, homeboy turned, so you would have caught up to him if he hadn't turned and gone 500 feet in an opposite direction. So now, you two are going in very different directions.
Okay.
But you're still wandering just aimlessly.
Just
Pretty
aimlessly.
much. Yep. I'm going to keep going forward because I don't know any better. I'm just going to assume he kept going because I'm not. Yeah. I don't know.
When you gonna roll these dice, Tim?
Yeah.
That's kind of the.
You're gonna find out if you should keep going or go back?
Yeah.
Roll them dice.
A 1 to. I'm going to roll a d6. A 1 to 3, I keep going. 4 to 6, I turn around.
Okay.
5.
You turn
So you come
around,
back to
start heading back out to the forest.
Yep.
Kind of huffing at the fact that you didn't really find anything. You thought you were really onto something, taking out all those trees.
Right.
You thought it was going to be something, that you were going to burst them out of the leaves up top or something, but to no avail. So
Kind of stepping
kind of
over
annoyed.
logs.
In fact,
Annoyingly.
stepping over- Yes, just kicking logs out of the way as you're going out.
Slapping
Trevor,
each
you're
tree with
going-
my fist as I continue on.
They all shake a good amount as you're going past.
Does anything fall out of the trees?
Lots of leaves.
So many squirrels.
Many squirrels.
They run away.
There's a bird who's very disturbed and comes down to like swirl around your head for a second, but then realizing that you're gigantic, they go, "Nah, I'm good." And keeps going. Trevor, you're getting deeper. So you've gotten past the part of the forest that's somewhat sparse. You're getting now into the older trees, the thicker trees. These ones you couldn't wrap your arms around. And all of the brush gets denser and it gets harder to walk. Make an athletics check.
Fuck you. 5.
Man, you did say that you've been bedridden, so it's only fair.
Yeah,
It keeps getting lower.
That's
You're trying to
true.
do some real.
You're getting
Successively, each one rolled lower.
You're getting tired.
You tried to like run and then tried to climb a tree, and now you're tromping through the middle of the woods. Like you're tired,
But being very sneaky about it.
I could have helped you, but you left me. So I'm just fucked off.
So
You're being
you're
loud as
going
shit.
through, like, your pants are just getting all covered in brambles, and trying to move your legs out of the brush is getting harder because there's no real path here. You're just kind of wandering forward. There's no deer paths to follow. It's just underbrush on underbrush. There's fallen brown pine needles everywhere, so everywhere you step is just crunch, crunch, crunch. Fallen leaves, just an open thicket. It just keeps going and keeps going. You're getting tired and tired. Do you continue?
Yes.
Okay. Roll an athletics check.
12.
Suddenly, just inspired out of spite, you lift your arms and your legs a little bit higher and just keep trekking forward into this woods that you don't know if you'll be able to get out of. You start thinking a little bit about how long you're going to be here and if you're going to be able to find your way out. Because although not super experienced in forests, being a noble, you've had a little bit and know that once you get stuck, it's hard to find a way out.
Well, I know how to hunt and track.
But you just keep going. Not following anything, just going. There's squirrels chittering, yelling at you. One throws a nut.
But does
It
he
bonks
hit?
off it bonks off his head just a little bit. But just the one. There's birds calling in every tree. And as you're getting closer, 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 roll a perception check.
14.
Although going through a very crude path originally, to your left you do see that there is a reasonably worn deer path that would be significantly easier to wander.
Is it in a similar direction to the one I'm heading?
In the direction you were heading was more straight. The deer path kind of curves off to the left.
Fuck it. I'll take the deer path.
All right?
Chuck it in the fucking bucket.
Following the deer path, going forward, you're definitely getting tired. This is a lot of exercise that you weren't stretched for. Things are getting kind of crampy, not doing great.
All real athletes know that you're supposed to stretch after your workout. Stretching before simply exerts your muscles and makes you weaker over
I would say
extended
that's
period of time.
bullshit because I used to be a fucking athletics trainer.
But anyways,
Like professionally, I did that for a few years.
I'm
On
fat.
the deer path.
I was just a powerlifter.
Feel that.
Oh, I don't do it anymore. Don't get me wrong.
And suddenly, you wander into the kitchen.
Fuck.
We're not going into the kitchen.
Oh no.
The kitchen.
It's nice in here. All paths lead back to the kitchen,
Lots of root vegetables.
covered in
So
herbs.
following this deer path, just alone with your own thoughts of revenge, flashes of just the potential of bloodshed, makes you smile just a little bit, keeps you going. Until you hear a stream.
A stream?
Yes.
Burbling
It's-
water.
Yes.
Very
Somebody
faint.
peeing in the woods.
Nearby.
And a lake.
You're not really sure which direction it's coming from because it's echoing all around you very subtly, but there is a trickle of water.
I'm gonna keep going up the deer path because it'll probably eventually lead to the water.
All right. You keep moving forward.
What's
Yeah.
with you in this fucking rock, you ass?
Is the cat playing with a rock?
Yes, he keeps
Druid.
knocking it off.
Wild shape.
It's not me.
Not me, I'm just here.
Do you want attention?
So, we're wandering aimlessly in the woods. Tim is making his way. At this point, he's back at the city limits, making his way back into town. The rest of you have gone to a tavern and are just sitting. It's definitely more lively than it was earlier when I can never remember. Chris, what's your character's name?
Oh Jesus!
Verdwald?
Verdwald.
Verdwald. It's definitely more packed than it was earlier when Verdwald was talking to Miss Franny, but it's not full yet. It's still only mid-afternoon. As you said before, you're going to be day drinking. But
What's the problem with that?
Wow, you guys, this place is packed.
Well, if you
Yeah.
need it packed at any time, just let me know.
I only have a small traveler's pack. I got it, but thank you.
I was talking about your bag of holding.
I don't have one. I've always wanted one though.
Hold up, my headphones died. I gotta go here. Gotta change this. Oh no. Cool. All right.
Hello?
All right.
No, my headphones like, fuck you, I'm gonna die. I'm like, I charged you earlier. Rude. So, sitting at this tavern, even though it is mid-afternoon, reasonably low light, there's not a lot of windows. It's definitely a diverse crowd. There's a couple elves, couple humans, few dwarves here and there, but pretty dispersed. No one's really talking to each other. Heads kind of bowed. No one's really making eye contact and just nursing their drinks for everything they've got.
All right.
Between chugs, I'm going to be slowly polishing the sides of my drums and the drum heads with just some like leather polish and a rag. Just chilling in the corner.
Are we all sitting together?
Yes, yeah.
'Cause we came back together. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I
Miss
am-
No Name, is there ever a name that you want it to be called by? I mean, like
I-
Crystal or Alice or
Gronk.
No, I've never really thought about my name. It was really it's a personal choice in my village. It's somewhat, you choose your name and then you're also, whoever of whatever family.
uh-huh.
But yeah, I don't really have a baseline to go off of. Not really.
Well, you see, so I was given my name as well. You see, my this group of traveling musicians that just kind of so happened to like pick me up on the side of the road one day. It was like 3, and they just started. They in their old dialect essentially named me the forgotten, or no, wanderer. Sorry.
That sounds nice.
So
It sounds like a very nice.
it's not too bad to be given a name. You can take it with pride.
Yeah. So
No,
what is it that you do?
Well, I tend to the forest, mostly.
Okay.
If I come across anyone that is on the road that needs some food provisions or, medication, things that can be generally gleaned from the land that they don't know how to get, I can offer that, but it comes few and far between, and I'd spend a lot of time just keeping to my own out there.
What is the name of your favorite flower?
Mm.
Because I'm a dwarf. We like rocks.
That's fair. But there's so many flowers, that's a very difficult choice to make.
Oh.
But what about your favorite mushroom?
Ooh.
You have to have a taste of your favorite mushroom.
That. Let me look up the name.
Pulls
My
a
brain.
book from you just like out of nowhere and just starts like scrolling through an encyclopedia of mushrooms.
Yep. Just a tiny little like book,
Like pocket guide.
And then I hold out the guide and like point to the tiniest, like most smudged up drawing of like you can tell that it's a mushroom, but you can't tell anything about it at this point. And I'm like, Glyphorus cicatinus. This one.
Wow.
What if we just called you the forest?
Or shroom.
I like that. I like
Which
both
one?
of them. Whichever you prefer. Whichever is
Broom de
most
forest.
memorable.
Room.
Shall we roll a d4 to select your name?
Sure.
There you go.
So 1 through 2, we will name you Shroom, or was it Mushroom or Shroom?
Shroom.
I think it was just shroom.
Shroom, and then 2 or 3 or higher is
The floor? What was it?
the forest. The
The
forest.
forest.
The forest.
Of course, for whatever reason, it keeps kicking me out of my character.
What did it land on?
D1.
It landed on 4.
1. Oh, you rolled? Okay.
I rolled a physical dice.
Okay. So,
Oh.
the forest.
The forest.
The forest.
What do
All
you
right.
think?
I like it. I like it. Need to write it down on my character sheet.
Da-da-da-da! New achievement unlocked. Naming the half-orc. Yay!
Suddenly, an extra merit badge like grows on Mike's leather
shield.
armor.
Do they do that?
Just like it's
I
like
know,
a
like
Girl
I
Scout
noticed.
badge. It's
I
just like
noticed that
mini
he's got a
friend.
bunch of badges, and I'm like, I just rip a piece of my shirt off and be like, "Here you go, a naming badge,
Okay.
It's a token from my people.
a token of my people."
I'll carry it with honor.
Miss Granny looks over. Leave your clothes on. It's not that kind of tavern.
I merely took
But
off
it
the
could
keys.
be.
She kind of nods. Mm-hmm. It was once. She turns and walks away without another explanation.
What kind of tavern do you mean?
You'll try anything once.
Dun dun dun. And they all got syphilis. All right, so you're all hanging out at the tavern. Tim is making his way back towards town. Asking a few of the locals, he finds out that really the main inn of the town is above Miss Franny's tavern. So he makes his way that way. Whereas Trevor has happened along a stream.
Along the street. Okay.
It slopes downward, and what you know of water is you follow it up. Eventually it will lead to larger.
If you're, or,
Okay, I'm gonna make a decision. Odd, I go up. Evens, I go down.
Hey, that's my thing.
We're going up. Upstream.
Alright. It's not very rocky terrain. It's just kind of making its way through a little ravine, like tiny little cut throughout the forest, following it up. A majority of the trees are evergreen, interspersed with maples and oaks, but mainly an acidic forest. The water's clear, from what you can tell, but it's very muddy. You just keep following. Tim, by now you have made it to Miss Franny's.
Okay.
Nobody heard it, but he went woohoo.
Hey!
Yeah.
No, okay. I will walk up to presumably Miss Franny and ask for work for a bed.
So you walk up to this not tall to you, but tall woman. You're definitely used to looking much more down at people. But somehow when she looks up at you, it seems like you're meeting eye to eye. She's very commanding. So, roll for charisma.
Oh, fuck me. Why you gotta do that one?
Because she's intimidating.
Okay, so just a flat charisma thing?
Yes.
16! Hey!
Alright.
And that's with a -3. Fuck you guys!
Hey! Alright.
he getting some work tonight.
I am not scared of you!
You take a moment and definitely you can sense that she commands every room that she's in.
I do take it in awe, though. I want to say that I am in awe of it, but I'm not scared of her.
All right.
I appreciate it.
She smiles at you, goes,
Yeah.
Usually people shrink when they look at me, but you're trying your best not to. Thank you. What can I do for you?
Looking for work or a bed.
How many nights, sugar? And she's just fucking with her nails.
One for now.
Oh, one that's easy. Do you want to wash my glasses for me? I don't want to do it. I've been on my feet all day. I don't feel like it. You wash my glasses for me. You tend to the bar for the rest of the night. You can have a bed for free.
Deal.
Excellent. She claps your hand.
-3 charisma, bartender.
I get you! Your drink!
Do you want?
Unlike the rest of this town I've dealt with, a lot of Goliaths try to prove the impression of them wrong. She goes around the bar. Goes sit at the end of the bar. Just puts her feet up, adjusts her skirt, picks up a glass of some kind of white wine, just starts drinking.
I noticed that the slightly intimidating elven woman has sat down and that there's a new bartender. And I decided
that's
that I
what I
do
was
want to
gonna
try
say.
one of those drinks.
And then
Wasn't he with us
Fiery
earlier?
water, is that what you called it? Birdwald?
Yes.
Okay.
Pricey adult beverages.
Adult beverage. Excuse me, bartender, barkeep. I would like one spicy water adult beverage.
I just look at her and raise an eyebrow, and then look at that Miss
Miss
Franny.
Franny bursts out laughing. Just full belly, loud cackle.
I am confused.
I make eye contact with the bartender and point to my mug. Give her one of these.
I just put a cup in front of her.
At this point, I'm gonna saunter on over.
This
I'm
looks
gonna go
pretty
ahead and
dry.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna rest an elbow on Viv's shoulder and just go. Just get her like a I don't know. What's your most moderate ale?
Miss Franny calls from the side. Bottom shelf, brown bottle. Goes back to fucking with her nails.
I'll grab the bottle and pour it until it's 3/4 of the way full.
Fill her up.
What?
Fill it up.
Oh, okay. So I'll continue to pour until it gets to water like surface tension level, and then put the bottle down.
She's just gonna smile. You might have a future here.
I look at it and I just lean my head down to slurp out of it so I don't spill it.
How much for a decent honey meat around here?
Look at Miss Franny again. I don't know shit. I don't carry gold. I don't know currency exchange.
I don't have money.
I know trade. I was a tribe.
Miss Franny. With
I
2
don't
gold
know.
pieces.
Say again.
My headphones are bad. Everybody's headphones are dead.
Good lord. Quickly look up the currency of how expensive things are, because I have no concept of money.
Yeah, it's like I got a chicken.
It's like, aren't horses 2 gold? So saying mead would be 2 gold is a lot.
He asked for some pretty
You
good
could
shit.
say it's a couple copper or something.
That's
yeah.
true.
What's up?
Do you want mid tier or high tier?
We'll just go for the mid tier today.
So I'm gonna look at her and say middle shelf.
It's silver.
Okay.
It's a city, honey. We gotta make money.
Even with that
Taxes
performance
are not
last night, I had your house packed.
That's why I said a silver, darling. I like you.
Very confused because one person thinks that silver isn't a lot, and then one person thinks silver is a lot. So I'm not.
Silver's too much money. Okay.
Hunter,
Well,
you can add
Sure.
10 gold to your thing for the troll you got yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Do I
Yeah,
go
I
for the
have no
I
middle
idea
don't
shelf
have
then?
any gold.
Inventory,
I-
inventory at all.
Can we say I have 10 gold for my performance from the last couple of nights in town or whatever? Because I also have no money, apparently.
Couple of nights, I'd say 15.
15 gold?
So how much did my drinks cost to me? I don't
What are
care
you drinking?
it is.
Just
Whatever's
dark,
cheap.
just cheap. Alright. Like 4 copper. Ale's cheap. Mead's expensive.
Fancy.
Honey's not cheap.
I'm gonna guess and just pick a bottle from like a mid shelf and pour it into Chris's drink.
I'm gonna, before you even bother, and I just sniff the mug, and I go, "This is not honey mead."
Middle shelf, green bottle.
Sorry, I went for brown. Grab the green bottle.
Wine is purple.
I still take
green.
the 3 or so sips that are in the cup at this point, and then give you the cup to fill.
You're lucky I like you.
Okay, I'm gonna pour his also to surface tension level.
All right. Look at you, you're learning.
And then I'll just go back and just like clean a cup.
Oh.
So how's that spicy water?
It's it's a little spicier than I expected, but it's not bad.
I think I'm gonna start calling my stuff spicy water now. And he writes it down in a notepad. At this moment, you see Miss Franny get up. She's finished her glass of whatever it was. And goes to the far end of the bar in a little alcove you hadn't really noticed, because when you walk up to the bar, it's to the right, flush against the wall. But you see an alchemist setup. Various tubes and bulbs, all glass intricate stoppers everywhere, with just bubbling liquids. Some are green, some are pink, just noxious gases trapped inside of things. And at the bottom, a tiny little vial of pink liquid that is slowly dripping out.
Yeah.
She opens up the bottom, which is just 2 little curtains. Takes a purple one in like an ornament-shaped bulb and kind of shakes it. It separates and then refuses again in a green and black kind of... It looks like it should be liquid, but it acts as a smoke. Kind of chuckles to herself, puts it in her pocket, closes it, taps the alchemist setup a little bit, just ping, ping, ping. Turns around, walks back. Pays no one any mind.
Out of curiosity, does the smoke match the same color as the smoke of what was happening earlier?
No.
Don't you even think about it.
That would be convenient, though.
I just thought I'd
Smell
fucking
like
look.
anything?
You were like specifically mentioning it, so I was curious.
She specifically mentions a lot of things.
Yes,
Indeed.
that's fair. They're called red herrings, but I thought I'd ask.
Does it smell like anything?
No,
Whatever
it is
to do with the
vapor
alchemy.
trapped as tightly as it can be. It's a very expensive, very well-tuned, refined setup. Something that's taken her at least decades, if not centuries, to perfect, but it is working, even though you know nothing of alchemy, just flawlessly.
So this is like outside of like the patrons could get to it, or what?
I
Where is
mean,
it
they
in the
could walk over to it, but you don't fuck with Miss Franny's stuff. That's just a
Gotcha.
general understanding of everyone.
It's clearly, visibly not for patrons, though.
Yes.
Okay.
In this moment, a man walks into the tavern. Just shaggy blonde hair, pretty tan skin, lots of freckles, chainmail shirt, leather on top, saber at his side, walks up, looks at the strange new bartender, acknowledges him, and goes back to Miss Franny. Whispers something a little under his breath, She nods, goes over to the alchemist kit, grabs something underneath that's a smaller vial than the one that's currently being dripped into. It's got black liquid, very viscous. As you see her kind of pass it to him, it looks like a syrup. Give him a wink. He tosses her platinum, and he leaves. No one says anything. No one acknowledges it. And he's gone. She sits back down.
Expensive drink.
Come again, sugar? In my old age, I am definitely going a little deaf.
I just said expensive drink.
It'll be somebody's last.
Is that a threat?
That's
No, that's a promise.
So you sell poisons.
Amongst other things.
Yeah, like spicy water.
Spicy water is good, isn't it?
She
It's really
smiles.
good.
Yes, sugar. Spicy water.
More?
Yeah, I'll take another.
Or more? Surface
Some
tension.
days are hard to pay the bills. Other days, we do great. But after being alive for much too long, you pick up some tricks along the way. You learn not to ask questions.
Do I need to make a perception check, or can I just know what time of day it is? Do I have a general idea?
At this point, getting to be about dinner time.
Okay.
It's still light out, but sun is setting in the distance.
And how is the bar getting any fuller?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
People are piling in. It was definitely the people that ducked and covered during the basilisk situation, but people are coming out. Definitely a lot of solemn faces. It's not a very lively crowd.
So do we hear any kind of chatter about what happened? Any specific things? I mean, people have to be talking after something like that.
Now that they're actually coming in.
Make, let's see, an intelligence check.
Oh, great. Intelligence. 17.
Ooh.
People definitely aren't being quiet about it. There's a lot of, what the fuck? What the fuck? There's a lot of people that you perceive are probably parents who are either seething quietly with rage or silently crying. Every so often you hear someone just kind of bang on the table, go back to sipping. No one's punched anything just yet, but that seems the progression the rest of the night. There's a lot of speculation about that Kasana woman. Name pops up. Word travels fast in Duroc. Whether it was leaked by a guard or someone else, she's kind of become the talk of the town.
Any new rumors that we don't know about? Anything catching our ears at all?
Perception check.
Perception +2, 18.
Okay. Not yet, but as you're pondering such a question, few of the guards walk in. The one you know is Kai.
Hey, babe.
His mouth kind of goes into a tight line, but his cheeks get real red, flanked by two others, some kind of elven or ancestry. You're not sure if they're half elves, full elves, but little worse for wear. They've definitely had a rough day. Go up to the bar. I need something stiff, Kai says.
I got
Off to
something
the bar.
for you.
You feel his asshole just like clench. She just slaps the table a little bit and goes. Looks back at you.
All right. Be all offended about it. See you later. And I'm just gonna take a. I'm not gonna be quite at the bar, but I'm gonna fall back a little bit and just sit at one of the table chairs that I would assume would be somewhere in the middle of the room, just enough that I can still hear them. But I'm just gonna lay back in the conversation, just strum like a not a quite a solemn tune, but like kind of like a just a faint little melody behind.
Make a performance check.
Oh. 14.
All right. It's just a very basic melody, just kind of making it up as you go. But it seems to lessen the rage that seems to be building in the room, which helps a little bit. Miss Freddy tilts her head to you a little bit, goes back to sitting, looking at the soldiers.
What is it, a lute?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
DOS lute.
Sure.
It's like a guitar, but not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soldiers stand there, get their drinks, walk over to Miss Franny, and in a hushed tone, gesture her to a back room. They all disappear.
Ooh.
I'm more of a drum guy myself.
So Miss Franny goes to a back room?
Yes, with the three soldiers.
Oh. Can I kind of follow along, do a little drunk walk, see if I
Yeah,
can
really.
eavesdrop on any of it?
Make a stealth check
I was thinking similar, but
with your full plate armor.
Yeah.
Is
Two!
it?
Three. No, it was a 3.
All right, you're holding your drink, you're not drunk, but you're feeling good. Feeling a little bold. So you just walk, not making any sort of stealth.
Just stick my head in the door or what?
Honestly,
What y'all talking about?
don't quite
Guys,
get
talk
that far
about-
before she shuts the door.
Rude.
Can I stand outside the door and try to listen in or whatever? But be stealthy about it more.
Make a stealth check.
Okay.
With disadvantage, because now we've drawn attention to the area.
Also playing a little melody behind you, so that's
Well, I have 24/10, so that's nice.
Alright. It's not a very thick door. So you do hear not aggressive whispers, but definitely lively conversation in the sense of the things you can perceive, because although it is not a thick door, it is still a door. You hear something along the lines of, "If she got away, I don't know. I don't know how she did it, man. She was so psychotic that I don't know how." That's about all you can perceive.
Well,
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I look up at him and like, what'd they say?
Fuck if I know. I just take a swig of my drink and kind of wander, lean against the wall.
In a very
Yes.
low voice, you hear Miss Franny go, "Eavesdropping is not polite.
Who's eavesdropping?
Since-
I'm just drinking.
Since I am currently technically employed by her, I'm gonna try to pull them a little bit away before trouble starts.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sitting back just like a slight giggle.
Just because you guys are like 9 feet tall.
I'm sick and tired of all these tall motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Staring down at me.
With that giggle, Kai kind of looks, little side glance after a while, smiles, goes back to his drink.
I just give him a slight wink and turn back to my loot.
Blushing. So many blushes. So many shades of red.
I'm gonna just walk up.
Swordthorn loves me.
I'm gonna walk up to Kai quietly, lean in, and say, "We see the blushing. Just get a room."
He slowly
I'm
sinks
gonna lean
into
over.
himself.
I'm gonna lean over and chime in. Hey, yeah, just go for it. That's just life, you know. When a chance comes along, you gotta take it.
Why not enjoy life?
Just, seek your happiness, man.
Man, it's just like since my girlfriend broke up with me,
I'm gonna cast levitate on myself, using my loot,
You're gonna hit
and
the
I'm just
ceiling.
gonna I'm just levitating. I'm just slightly hovering, above in the air, and just kind of lay back and legs crossed, just playing my loot, just listening to everything going on.
Great. He gets taller.
Oh no! I'm laid back. I'm just like laying down midair, kind of just drifting along, kind of swinging to the melody.
Yeah, levitating over the tables along.
Yes.
As if you were in an invisible hammock, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Chris, make a performance check with advantage.
Oh, with advantage. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I am gonna start listening in while he's doing this and try to listen to see if we've heard anything about the human that followed me.
18.
18.
Well, that was without. Hold on. You said this was a performance check?
Yes.
That's a 21.
All right. So you're floating around in the air, which is something that most of these people are not familiar with. So they're kind of infatuated with you.
As they should be.
There's a lot of nuance. It's all so new and so strange, so foreign, and yet they are entertained.
I forgot to describe to you like my actual like physical appearance other than my like height, weight, dimensions. I am currently like you could consider it leather armor, but it's more of like a crop top or like a tube top that somebody kind of put over their shoulder. Kind of think of it like tight leather, but like I'm showing a lot of skin.
Hell yeah.
My pants are like they are, I would say, like right at the like tops, or like maybe like a little like an inch above my knees, but they're like just slightly torn, and they're just it's a little bit more colorful than you'd expect from a Goliath. We'll just put it that way.
All right.
Everyone kind of looks around and they give strange clapping or just kind of like excited remarks, and you kind of go, do we tip you up there? Do I throw money? How do you want us to do this?
Give it to the dwarf.
I like just kind of shoulder bump my drum out of the sack on my back, and I just like with my foot just kind of lean it down just enough that they'd be able to toss a coin in as I'm sitting there just strumming the lute.
I kind of looks up. You're unique, huh?
Who is this? I'm sorry.
Kai.
The centaur
His mouth
you've
is
been
open
flirting with.
just a little bit too much.
As I drift
Or
past
just
him,
enough.
I just happen to drop a note out of my pocket that just happens to say what room number I'm in.
Oh, you
Looks at
dropped
it.
this.
Takes it, looks at it, blushes again, pockets it.
No eye contact, by the way. I'm still just like eyes closed, strumming my lute, floating in midair.
Good, because I'm pretty sure if you made eye contact in the moment, he'd crumple.
No, he'd come.
Both.
A little bit of both.
Both.
Well,
Little pre-com, never hurt nobody.
at this point, the guards and Miss Franny exit the back room. They order a single bottle of very, very dry whiskey. Take it, put a platinum on the bar, keep the change, and walk out.
Are these the people who like went into the room?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, got it.
You see Miss Franny's holding it together, but looks distraught.
Everything okay, Miss Franny?
Some things are better left unsaid, child.
It's gonna float past her and go, well, it's not always sometimes.
I like you, boy. Don't push it.
I'm just gonna continue to drift away.
One for dramatic flair.
Yes.
Very much so. All right. As you're doing that, Trevor has made his way up to a waterfall. It's not a large falls. There's 3 very distinct spouts that fall over, but make a perception check.
All of us? Or no?
No, just Trevor.
Okay.
He's the only one by the stream in the forest.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Did we lose him?
Trevor?
Trevor!
Passed out.
Trevor, did your thing cut out again? I will go see
Back on.
what he's up to.
He's like, I didn't hear about the tavern. Fuck y'all.
Morning. Wake up.
Oh, yeah. Hello, hello?
Morning.
You falling asleep on me?
Mm,
Maybe a little bit?
maybe
Maybe
like
you shouldn't have split
probably a
with the
good
party.
20 minutes.
Okay.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
It's okay because you wouldn't know what's happening right now. So
Yeah, it works out. We just got to your character. You're at a waterfall.
Oh,
Make a perception check.
okay.
It's wet.
water's not wet.
That's a natural 20 for a total of 21.
All right. So there's 3 very distinct spouts of this waterfall, but where they converge seems to be too perfect.
I'll go investigate.
Coming up around the side of it, you can see that although you will have to go through a waterfall, there's darkness behind it. Hollow darkness.
Fuck that. I turn around.
All right.
That's sketchy.
Sorry,
shit.
wait
I
a
ain't going
second.
in there
You
by
came
myself.
all this way.
Ooh,
Kinda sense.
Fuck
Spooky
this
shit, I'm
shit,
out.
I'm out. I don't
Kinda
know what
sense.
this happened. I don't really care. I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here.
Fuck this
Fuck
shit.
this
I'm
shit,
out.
I'm out.
Mm.
Do you even know where you are at this point? Like,
Not a
Exactly.
fucking clue.
Go back the way I came.
Outside.
gonna
that is
wander the
where.
woods until he's dead. Lost forever. Goodbye, Trevor.
General idea of the direction.
And then he died.
New character.
I got the Goliath back up. No worries.
Yes. Session 1, just like, yep, and fuck that character. We're gonna continue.
All right. Are you heading back towards what you think is town?
I'm heading back the trail that I came through.
All right.
Just retracing my steps.
All right. The problem with having gone through all of the brush is that you don't really have steps once you get past the deer trail.
Really good perception check.
Really good nature check.
Nature. 19.
All right. You get to where you originally found the deer trail because there was a particularly strange looking snaggle tree that just seemed odd. It's got lots of holes in it, definitely taken over by some woodpeckers, but it was just such a strange tree that you made a mental note of it. So you know to turn there. You start making your way back through the brush.
Okay.
You know approximately how long it took you. Not really the distance, but the amount of time it took.
Oh, trek on.
Right. Make a strength check, because you are tired at this point. You are very outconditioned.
He
You've been
only
trying.
went for a hike. What are you
He
talking?
even took a nap.
12.
Yeah. How could he be
Only
tired?
went to the next state over. He's fine.
Everything's fine. Just trekked up a waterfall. It's fine.
And then went, nah, fuck that.
I got a 12.
Okay. You're definitely weary. The sun is not setting, but dusk will be upon you in the next 45 minutes.
Okay.
Death will be upon.
So as he's trekking back, you guys are still in the tavern. Verwald is floating around the tavern. DeForest is very drunk at this point, having never had an alcoholic beverage before and not really knowing how to
Spicy
handle themselves.
water. It is not
Really just
alcohol.
cuddling the drink as if it were a small creature.
Is the
Just
is
the
that,
one
is,
drink, the first one.
Is that the guy? Was his name Kai? What is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Kai.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kai. Okay, I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm gonna make him a deal. I said I'm gonna give you my dice, and it's a D6. I'm just gonna give him a single D6. I say 1 through 3, you sleep with him. 4 through 6, don't. Let fate decide for you.
It takes him a moment, and his buddies are kind of like punching him in the arm, being like, do it! Okay, do it! Just watching like a new bride takes the D6 and rolls it.
What's he roll?
Am I rolling? Are you rolling?
Yes, you rolling.
Right.
Normally you roll NPCs.
1 to 3, he sleeps. 4 to 6, he doesn't.
He rolls it, and at the angle it is, it turns like a top. Spence is killing everyone. At this point, the entire bar is invested.
Can I also use? Hold on.
Oh boy.
Guidance.
Hold on. What is it? Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation?
Yeah, prestidigitation. Essentially, I'm just gonna
Constitution?
I'm just gonna make a spark on the other side of the bar that just like slightly distracts everybody as I slowly make sure that it rolls in my favor. What did we roll? What did we get?
3.
Oh, that's
in
a
your favor.
yes.
Yeah.
He looks up from the dice. Just a big old smile on his face. Hands back this gigantic Goliath. Gives the dice. Kind of squares his shoulders a little bit. And goes, "That's an interesting way to make decisions. I like that. I can't make a decision to save my life. That's why my girlfriend broke up with me.
I
Is this
will.
guy?
This is Kai.
I am going to gift you this die. Let it help you along the way.
But why? You don't know me.
But it helped you.
Fair enough. Takes it, puts it in his pocket.
I can always make another one. I have others. I have a bag.
At this point, they've all finished their drinks. And Kai looks up at this still floating bard who he's become quite enamored with. He goes, "I'll be back at sundown." He gets up from the table and they walk out the tavern. At this point, everyone in the tavern kind of settles into themselves. Everyone was real invested. There was quite a bit of cheering when it finally stopped being a top and landed on a 3. And everyone settles. Then something is right, at least in the world.
From this point forward in the night, I'm going to gradually try to lift the dense feeling of, still slightly surrounding negative energy that's in this tavern, all the shit that went down today and all the, missing kids and shit. We're just gonna slowly try to uplift the just the general morale of everybody who's come for a drink.
As you're doing this, another man walks in. You don't know where he's from. He's got very strange clothes, all manner of colors. He's a human. That's all you can really tell. Very, very short brown hair, brown eyes. Nothing really identifiable about him. But he walks up to the bar, gets a drink, kind of looks around and he's like, I don't know why you're all so sad. Kids make a lot of noise. Things are better this way. Real cocky, sips his drink. As Miss Franny, who was standing at the edge of the bar, stands up to her full height. And as everyone around the bar reaches for whatever kind of weapon they might have, she takes her glass and chucks it at his head. And her aim is remarkable. It doesn't just hit his shoulder, hit the side of his face. No. Because it is a wine glass, it turns and smashes the base of it against his nose, and you hear a very distinct crack, whereas the rest of it shatters across his face, leaving a very long gash of blood as he holds his face for a moment and then collapses onto the ground. There's a moment. Everyone stills. And Miss Franny, in a very gruff, a little bit too aggressive voice, says, "Get this filth off my floor."
I attempt to get up to move this guy, but also end up on the floor.
I'll go pick him up.
Okay. Make a strength check just for the fuck of it.
24.
Okay. You grab this man like he is nothing. You pick up his unconscious, very limp body and just yeet him outside. He kind of skins.
Oi, cabbages!
You leave the cabbages out of this. Alright. Now that that's taken care of, does anyone else have a problem? Everyone, no, Miss Franny.
I'm just gonna look around
menacingly.
ready to throw somebody out again because I like weight. Exercise.
In your brain, you're just thinking, I lift things up and put them down.
This point, although
Wait a
very
minute. I have a problem.
yes,
How is it that this phenomenon
Mhm.
happens all the time here, and
No.
nobody knows jack trap about it?
not this phenomenon especially.
Phenomena.
Miss Franny grabs a new glass, fills it up.
Put my
Well, Master Dwarf. It hasn't been happening here until today. But there have been reports coming in for weeks that these kind of disappearances have been happening for at least a few months. It started off with orphans, unwanted bastards, poor dears, anyone that was easily overlooked or forgotten. That's why it went unreported for so long. It takes a long drink. Studies herself. Recently, whoever's been doing this is getting bolder. Because orphans and bastards are easy to take. No one will try and come get them. Easy to overlook. But then they started going for farmers and peasant children.
And nobody gave a crap until it was the nobles?
That's how it always goes, darling. You'd think they'd be wise enough not to go for royals, and yet they were bold enough.
I'm gonna pipe in and say this is why we take care of each other in a tribe.
There is no tribe in a city.
Granted, yeah.
Everyone is for themselves here. Franny's not drunk by any means. She's a barmaid. She's got a very high tolerance. But her cheeks are getting a little flushed. Her ears are a little red. She's getting a little looser.
I was gonna say, is that out of anger or drink?
No, that's drink. There's definitely anger seething underneath, but she's trying to nurse that away. And those.
So who is this lady Cassandra? Whoever they keep talking about that they don't
Cassandra?
like? Yeah, that one.
That bitch.
At the mention of the name, Miss Franny goes very stiff. Finishes her drink. Kasana disappeared in the midst of the chaos today. Gone like a ghost. So now we not only have missing children, but the murder of the Kingslayer is going to go unpunished unless she is found.
So wait, isn't that the prisoner? She escaped?
Somehow, some way. The guards that were supposed to be watching her will probably be executed in the morning. Not publicly. I have a feeling the Queen will do it herself.
She's a do-it-herself kind of gal.
I heard she has a thing for mirrors. Maybe she'll make them watch.
Maybe. She did love King Amond. Though, if I'm being perfectly honest, there's no way it could have lasted. She's a high elf. She would outlive him centuries. Maybe millennia.
Yeah, but the heart wants what the heart wants.
Life finds a way.
Too many complications, just live life.
Just do you, boo boo.
Do you, boo boo? I'ma do me.
And a way to life. You just gotta follow the flow. You gotta follow the way. You gotta follow your truth and your dreams. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Let your dreams be memes.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I understand her predicament. I too was once in love with a human, but he's been dead at least 500 years at this point. And eventually you move on. She will too.
Wow, this is a fucked up town.
Welcome to Duroc. The land. It's dark. The sun has set. And
Okay.
in walks your handsome boy. Freshened up out of his uniform.
Can I did I happen to collect anything in my drum from tips and shit from my performance thus far this evening?
Like 9
Big
silver, 4 gold.
Okay. All right, I toss 2 gold over to Miss Franny and say thanks for the room as I just slowly waft up the stairs, still floating and just, beckoning him with my fingers.
You disappear into the darkness, close the door. Miss Franny just kind of chuckles to herself. He's one for theatrics. Something we need around here.
And horses.
And horses.
Horses.
So, you're off doing things. At this point, Trevor's made it back into city limits. He might be asleep now. Don't know. Definitely asleep.
Okay.
I think it's time for the hog tying, as is tradition.
No.
Are you all staying for the night?
Oh, I really appreciate the spicy water. I don't think I have any money, so I'm gonna go. Thank you.
Miss Franny kind of shakes her head.
Give
No,
her a
honey.
room.
You're going upstairs. You're in no condition. I don't think you could walk out of the city.
Well, I'm sure someone won't mind me sleeping in with the horses.
Go to bed, darling. She throws you a key, which you fumble very hard, but
Oh, I
pick
was
up.
just to say, like, beckon her out to the stables. Or like, if you insist.
I stumble my way up the stairs on all fours with the key in one hand. Just, oh yeah.
Franny
Can do
keeps
it.
chuckling to herself. She's gonna feel that in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a room, gestures at Bolo.
What? Orillo?
Arillo? Bolo? Words.
cap.
Right.
I'm gonna work my way up there and help the crawling person up the stairs.
Probably a safe bet. The rest of you. Are you sleeping in the tavern?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
How much is a room? God, I can't get away from hotels.
Honestly.
I'll sleep on a bench if you allow it.
Do you snore?
Oh, yes.
I'm a dwarf. I snore.
We've all
Very
had
loud.
a hard day. She tosses you keys. Just go to bed.
Okay. And give her 2 gold, 1 for my room and 1 for the forest room.
Tips her head to you. Slowly ushers out all of the drunkards. If they're not staying, it's definitely getting late. There's no real concept of time, but it's late.
It is sundown.
Closing time.
Right. You really haven't done much, but you take a long rest. So you get anything back. I guess you used 1 spell slot. You can get that back.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's a long rest. You wake up. Bright out. It's spring. Sun is definitely awake before you want to be.
Is Kai still there?
Oh yeah, you were cuddling all night.
Okay. Awesome. We'll be down for breakfast later.
Okay.
Is there a continental breakfast with this?
Yes.
Woo!
DeForest, your head is pounding unlike anything you've ever felt before. Everything is red. You can feel your heartbeat in your eyes.
Everything hurts.
Everything is
thin.
dry. You wake up in the morning just parched.
I was gonna head down to the bar and go, "This is Franny. I don't feel so good."
Before you even make it down the stairs, Miss Franny has filled a cup with some pink liquid. It's very pretty. It's got kind of a sparkle to it, and she shoves it at you. Drink that before you say anything, honey.
Okay. I down it all in one go.
It takes a second. Your body goes, oh, we're good. No effects of a hangover. You are fine.
Wow. Thank
I'm good
you.
at what I do.
You are a professional.
It's taken several centuries to get here, but I've learned I have a knack for it. At this point, there is a message board in the tavern, which you see has a very large poster. It takes up most of the board. Not written very well, but it is bold. From a distance. Hard to read. You feel like.
Yeah, thank you.
From a distance. The only thing you can see at the top is all ye willing, and then the text gets smaller.
I walk up close to it, holding my head and like squint at it, and attempt to read it.
The flyer says, all ye willing, of sound mind and able body, come forth to the Queen's Hall at dawn for instructions of a quest on behalf of Queen Heli of Duroc. If you succeed, Her Majesty has promised a handsome reward, as well as vowed to grant any request of her victors that are in her power to bestow.
Shit, guys, I think we're late.
It is definitely after dawn.
They had
I'd say real loud
they
at
had
the forest.
They had a thing.
At this point, Kai is just like rushing at barrel ass down the stairs because he slept in way too late and got way too distracted, and then realized, fuck. Being a guard and all.
Yep.
Love guard duty.
I'm gonna just slowly meander my way down the stairs.
His friend is just chuckling. So you had a good time.
I'll give it a 6 out of 9.
Oof.
Not a
As I wander down the stairs, I'm just gonna read the able body. Say, I've got an able body.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
So, you are late. Not super late, but we're late. If you want to go. If not, the city is yours.
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
I'm gonna ask Miss Franny for just a bit of tonic to go. Toss her a couple silver pieces.
She's like, I already had one ready for you, honey. And she tosses it
I am going to thank her for the room and the work as I walk out, as I duck down underneath the door and head out.
It's like, get a prairie oyster from Cowboy Bebop thing, or whatever. And then go.
Yeah.
Raw egg and gin and what is it, salt.
As you do.
Yeah.
I thank Miss Franny for everything, and I start heading that way.
Okay.
The same way as everyone else.
At this point, there's less guards around than yesterday, but they're still posted at their stations. Making your way up the stairs. Towards the top, you do hear voices inside. And getting closer. It's a voice you haven't heard yet. It's a female voice. It's higher pitched, but very regal. Quite commanding. Getting closer and closer.
We there yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to find my place.
Oh,
Alright.
I was just being annoying.
Did we leave Trevor at the tavern?
Yep.
Apparently. He's
Okay.
dead.
He's dead to us all.
He never really made it back to the tavern. He just
Wandered
was like-
aimlessly through
He
the
just
forest and
passed
became
out
one
at
of
the edge
forest.
of town.
well,
was
no,
gonna
no.
say.
It's like he just kind of fell into a different dimension, sort of thing. So it's like, yeah, he found his way back to town, but it's not the town he came from. He's just gone.
Just gone. Goodbye, Trevor.
Accidentally wandered into Night Vale.
Suddenly, he found himself in a kitchen.
Shut the fuck up. So you hear this woman's voice as you're opening the doors say, "There's been a traitor in my court." Doors open. Everyone turns around.
It wasn't me.
I just look up at all the tall people.
Thanks for joining us. Hurry along.
Okay.
File in.
Running.
Who
Alright.
was begging?
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
My footsteps.
Ah,
Very loud.
shuffle along. Bah.
As
Oh.
I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted, there has been a traitor in the court that has now escaped amidst the confusion of yesterday's events. And Queen Helle, who is sitting in the chair next to the copper-haired woman who has been talking, goes, "I want her found. I want her hunted down like an animal, and I want her skinned alive."
Whoa.
Whatever you want, babe.
Copper-haired woman just glares in a way that
I
if
would
she could
probably
kill you
catch
with her
her.
eyes, she would have.
Knowing
Take piercing damage.
how she is like a tribe leader of a bigger tribe, I'm just gonna step away from him.
It's a safe bet.
Just
It was
disassociate.
murmured. It was murmured, okay?
I
Like
still
she heard me.
She has elven hearing.
Oh.
Ooh. And then yeah.
She's gonna continue. Her name is Kasana Strasser, and she is responsible for the death of King Amand. My shadows have determined she was working on the behest of someone else. As she's saying all of these, she's spitting the words with intent.
I
We
casually
believe-
wipe my face.
Colluded with whoever is responsible for kidnapping my nieces. At this, Queen Helle's grip on her throne becomes white-knuckled, and the creak of wood is loud enough to hear in the back, which she then relaxes. All our children, I'll correct you. There's a moment of silence between the two, and she continues on. My own shadows have confirmed also that this was not an isolated attack. Information is only reaching our lands now, but disappearances of children across Tal'Dorei have occurred for several months now, if not longer than that. It started off with orphans and unwanted bastards, children that the world tends to overlook and forget entirely.
So I interrupt, and so what makes you think that they're connected? The death of the king and the missing kids.
Or
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Well, Master Dwarf, I will acknowledge your questions at the end.
Okay, continue then.
Give permission to the queen. I'm taking another step away.
I look around. Where are you going?
These disappearances have gone mainly unreported, which is why we don't truly know the timeline of all of this. Then peasant children of rural farmers became vanishing, which was mainly chalked up to animal attacks and runaways, and ignored by the nobles of their area. With these instances, there was no pattern to follow either. Different times of day, different ages of kids, different kinds of farms, different end results. Some instances, only one child was taken, some all of the children of a family. Sometimes the family was harmed, sometimes not. It's only been recently that we've begun hearing tales of city children disappearing, being taken off the streets while playing, not returning from wandering in nearby forests. So I added more security. I didn't think they'd be bold enough to come here. I didn't. Again, she white knuckles her throne before relaxing, standing up at her full height, looking down at all of you. Here's what I offer you. 500 gold pieces for information that leads to the capture of Kasana Strasser. 5,000 gold pieces if you bring her back to me alive. 5,000 gold pieces for information as to who is the mastermind behind all these kidnappings, and 20,000 gold pieces if you bring them back to me alive. Now, that is the monetary aspect of all of this. For those of you more glory inclined, I offer you a nobleman's title, as it is in my power to bestow, as well as riches and land worthy of such a lordship. Find out who is doing this, and I will grant you wealth and status. Bring me back my children, and I will grant you your wildest dreams.
Our wildest dreams.
My wildest dreams.
Fuck your dreams.
Thanks, bro.
Do this for me, and you will always have a home in Durak. Your names will be heralded as the heroes of the realm, and the stories of your adventures will be an echo that outlives your grandchildren's grandchildren. And so I ask you, dear strangers, she looks at the back at all of you, are you brave of heart and steel of mind? Are you willing to take up this task in my stead? If so, step forward. If not, you are dismissed.
Question: how much less do we make if we kill them? I'm just
As
saying
a-
it's easier to
Yeah,
carry
you
a
did
head.
not give me a.
As hypothetically.
I want them alive. They
Okay,
do know.
I'm not carrying them back though. Who else? One of you
Neither do
guys
I,
are.
they should be able to
We'll
walk.
figure that out along
Guys,
While
the
you
all
guys are
way.
big.
figuring this out, some
I
people
step
do
forward.
leave,
Yeah,
others
step
step
forward.
forward.
Yeah,
We're just gonna. Should we just step forward, guys? Like,
yeah.
Stepping forwards.
Yep.
I take a large step forward.
Queen seems to relax just a bit as the same copper-haired elven woman steps out. This is my sister, she gestures, Queen Lenya of Letha. She was here to celebrate the birthday of her niece and nephew, but she has also brought information from the Elven realms regarding these disappearances. Copper-haired woman steps forward in front of the throne. Elven children are very rare, so we view them as more precious than anything else, and keep them well protected until they're mature and can defend themselves. We've had several attacks within our borders, but none have been successful until last. Prior attacks have been from goblin hordes and those beastly wolves they ride upon. The occasional bugbear, but last week was different. We had all 3 of our children. All 3 taken. Just disappeared in a puff of smoke like they did yesterday. Our sorcerers aren't sure if it's a portal spell or a time-altering spell, but the magic leaves no trace once the smoke clears.
Some kind of time magic.
That is what we are thinking. There's no warning, there's no indication that anything's awry, but the hysteria that ensues after the fact is arcane as well as mundane. It's as if whoever's doing this is trying to sow chaos and disruption in their wake as a diversion. That was only a theory until yesterday, when Kasana conveniently slipped her shackles and escaped from her interrogation cell amidst the basilisk's onslaught. There is a rough sigh that escapes Lenya's lips before continuing. She's slippery, that one. I can usually break a prisoner in a matter of hours, but Kasana is cold-blooded and thwarted me at every opportunity. Tried to bite off her own tongue to keep from talking at one point. She's also a master manipulator and a compulsive liar, so you have her to thank for the new wards in here. A stout, dwarvish woman who's a few feet away from you. New wards? Queen Lenya just smiles wickedly. You cannot utter falsehoods once you pass over that threshold. She gestures to the runic inscriptions carved elegantly over the doorway. Do so, and the severity of your lies will be inflicted upon your flesh. Queen Heli rises and addresses the crowd. You have now been informed of the task at hand. Should you still wish to take up the gauntlet, you must state your name, where you hail from, and what your ultimate goal is, so we know what your intentions are and where your loyalties lie.
So I raise my hand with the gauntlet on, and so the only thing that you have to tie the 2 incidents together are that a prisoner used what was happening with the children to get away.
It seems too dramatic to not be associated.
Coincidence, I think not. Okay.
Seems too dramatic.
Someone let her out. We dealt with them this morning.
And what information did you get from them?
Before they breathed their last breath, they admitted that she was a master part of the plan, that they were working for whoever her superior was. They would not give us a name, but we also found out they didn't know the name.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We go based off what people will give.
Okay. Still not convinced, but okay.
A human male, shaggy blonde hair and tan skin, a little bit in front of Eustace. Well, I'm Brett.
What?
I'm from Duroc, and I just want to help save the children, and immediately starts bleeding out of both of his nostrils. Okay, I'm just in it for the money, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah,
Really?
I really don't like kids either. So
Don't care about the kids, but as long as I get paid and can get more stuff to make life easier, fuck it.
As valiant as any.
Yeah.
I will raise my arm and with my great axe in hand and say, "My name is Orillo Bone Splitter Aguvavi," and I forget what else was supposed to say, but I'm here to help.
Your intentions.
To kill things.
Aren't we all? Human male says that her name is Ella. She does look. She's from Duroc and just wants to get her son back. Gets
Go ahead.
gets back to you. There's not many people in the chamber. Not many people came. Most of the people are still tending to the petrified in the lab because there was a lot of people that were petrified.
The way I see it, no one's going to be truly happy around these parts until we can figure out and get to the bottom of this. So until then, what's the point of me trying to cheer up a town when, quite honestly, the only thing that's really going to cheer them up is, freedom from this hellish situation that they seem to be in.
Queen Lenya takes a moment and cocks her head just a bit, takes you in. Are you a Goliath bard?
Quite passively, as
he likes horses
slowly
too.
start to levitate a little bit.
Now I've seen everything. And believe me, I have seen everything.
Can beat those drums real good.
That's what
We'll
Kai
get to the
said.
drums. We'll get to the drums.
Queen Helia just kind of nods. Noted. Now,
I am DeForest, and I really think that we just need to save the kids because they're good for us. They're the future. We need more kids to keep being alive. It's just kind of how things work.
single nod. Sisters whisper something that you cannot hear. Turn back.
Perception check.
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
17 and 25. He got 25, I got 17.
All you hear in a very sisterly ways. This is what we have to work with. This is the best your kingdom has. We should call Reyna. No, we shouldn't call Reyna. We should call Reyna. No, you're not calling Reyna. Smacks her a little bit, turns back. Now, I suggest you travel in groups. Too many have been singled out and picked off recently. We can't risk it. Not with so much at stake. Now, you'll be needing supplies and equipment, of course. So, take these. I suggest going to visit Estelle's first, then Malice's, and then Miss Franny's before leaving town. You are dismissed. And with that, the guards that are around hand each of you a sack of coins. Each sack has 15 platinum, 20 gold, and 50 silver.
This is half now, half later kind of thing, or?
No, this is to gear up.
This is just to gear up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not part of the reward.
Oh, nice.
Bring me back what I desire, and you'll get a much bigger sack than that.
Nice.
I don't know. I've got a pretty big sack.
Somebody's got to
At this point,
Crazy.
I am well out the door at this point.
Okay.
I'm gone. Don't worry about it.
say,
Like,
if she's not throwing knives, I wouldn't fuck with her.
All right, so we go shopping.
Shopping.
And this would be a good time to stop so that you can all make your list. So I know what to put in the places, because I have ideas, but if you want something really particular.
God slaying dagger.
Gotcha.
I don't know. for 5 copper, preferably.
For 5 copper. Cool, first session in the books.
Yay!
Holy
Yay.
shit.
Yeah,
Doing the
that's
thing. Alright. Have a good night, everybody.
Yep.
Yo.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
bait.
Bye.
Bye.